Thank you, Acting President. I rise to support the motion raised by my colleague and friend, the Honourable Stephen Pratt. Thank him for raising the motion. I think it's a particularly important one, and it provides opportunity for a really important discussion about, and I guess I hear him echoing the sentiments of the Honourable Samantha Rowe when I say that sport and our investment in sport is a really important both early intervention spending and social investment. And I say this based on observation and what I've seen both as a teacher and a parent, but also in a story that my uncle shared with me recently when he was visiting Geraldton, and he'd been travelling about regional WA, and he'd found himself being roped into, much to his wife's disgust, because they're probably in Queensland and he was going to be gone for a long time now, but he'd been roped into coaching the Southern Cross men's footy team. And he was explaining to me why he made that choice and why he felt it was important. He and my dad, his brother, 2 of 14 children in their family. 9 of those 14 children are boys. When they were young boys in Southern Cross, they were a big rough and tumble rabble of boys. Dad was relatively absent for his own reasons. And what he shared with me at the time was that he believes that football saved those boys from a life in which they could have got into a lot of trouble. One of the coaches at the local footy team spotted the boys running around like fit, wiry, rough and tumble lads, and decided that he'd bring them into the fold of the local footy club and teach them all to play as part of a team, to operate collectively and to support a group around them, and he taught them discipline. And my uncle credits that with a lot of the significant change of direction or trajectory in my dad and his brother's lives, and he really does rate the importance of that. And there's a beautiful photo in our family of all the boys in there. They went after they moved to Kalgoorlie, playing for the Kalgoorlie Miners, I think they're called. Is that right, Honourable Kyle McGinn? Kalgoorlie Miners, and they're all Mines Rovers, that's it. I knew it was something like that. I knew the Miners was in there. Sorry, I apologise. I'll probably be in trouble for that too. They're sitting, all standing around, the footy pose where they're all popping out their biceps, and my nana and pop are sitting down in front of them looking incredibly proud of these young blokes who are all playing footy. But it really did strike me because I and please don't strike me down, but I'm not really, I don't watch football much. The sport doesn't really resonate for me, but I totally grasp the significance and the importance of the sport as he shared that story with me. My son has ended up playing soccer, and that's been a challenge for some in the family to accept, but it's a fantastic game and it's been a fantastic sport for him. And the reason being is that, again, it taught him that discipline, but also at the time that he engaged in that sport, it was played by all the boys and girls together, and it was played across the whole range of cultures and ethnicities that are in the Midwest region at the time. And it was just a really wonderful exposure to that diversity and inclusion that sport can represent. So I was really pleased that he ended up in soccer and some of those beautiful unexpected benefits that emerged from it. And before I get into some of the McGowan government's really fantastic spending and investment in sport that is part of that really great early intervention and social investment, I would just like to make a bit of a plea to all the people who do have young people playing sport, and that is, please do more than get your kids there. Please participate in the clubs. Get involved in coaching, run the lines in soccer, get involved in umpiring and learning to umpire and support those kids. These clubs can't exist without your involvement and your participation. I also encourage people to consider volunteering for St John Ambulance, who provide ambulances at some of the significant sporting events, and the volunteers that maintain those. None of those things can happen unless we as parents or guardians or people who have kids and nephews in sports. None of those things can happen without us joining in and helping support all that, and it's an important investment that you can make just by giving your time. So I'd like to talk about some fantastic investment in Geraldton. Local member Lara Dalton, as part of her election commitment, delivered $3.5 million to the Geraldton basketball stadium upgrade. This was a really important upgrade for Geraldton. The Geraldton Amateur Basketball Association have had more players than they could cater to. Hundreds of kids missing out on playing basketball. It's a hugely popular sport in Geraldton. When everyone's not playing footy, they're all playing basketball. And they currently have about nearly 2,500 members, I believe. And the extra funding that went into that sport and enabling those courts to upgrade and the stadium to upgrade and the additional courts has meant that we can cater to the huge number of people that want to get involved in that sport. But not only that, those courts also include support for more diverse needs in the community. So there's Aussie hoops being played there, there's a midnight basketball program for our Indigenous youth, and there's a wheelchair basketball competition as well. So fantastic things happening in those courts, and a fantastic $3.5 million investment from the McGowan Labor government, and I really do commend local member Lara Dalton for securing that investment for the Midwest. It was brilliant work. More on the great work of the McGowan government and Lara Dalton is the $4.2 million investment in the Geraldton cycling network expansion. Things that encourage activity around the region. It doesn't necessarily have to be a institutional type sport, but it really gets people moving. There's stage 1 was to the north of Geraldton, stage 2 is to the south, and they really link some of those outer communities, enable them to walk or ride or scooter or however it is that people are getting around these days, into the main part of Geraldton, and it's really great to see those being delivered within Geraldton. And I really do commend Lara Dalton for that work there as well, and really bringing those things to the attention to the government and making sure they're delivered. Lara also donates a bicycle to every single school in Geraldton every single year to really encourage that activity in sport and participation. She's very committed to sport, including hockey, where she helped secure some funding for a synthetic turf upgrade. I will move on. Also, there's some other great stuff that she's done in Geraldton, but I would like to mention about some things in the ag region as well, but I'll quickly list through them. There's been some funding for the Geraldton Yacht Club, Rovers Soccer Club, Go Soccer, Rovers do a great job in Geraldton as well, the Geraldton Bowling Club, and some club nightlights funding for Geraldton Bowling Club, Geraldton Softball Association, and there was another one, some funding for the Backroads Gravel Fields of Gold event. This is a gravel cycling event. First event happened last year. It's on again in August this year. It's a beautiful event because it happens when all of the canola is out in flower and the fields are, like, quite literally, as the title suggests, it's fields of gold all around you, and people are participating in this cycling competition through the Shire of Chapman Valley, brings some great funding into that region. People can go to the Nabawar Tavern for a great feed and coffee and a beer and a great pub feed. Very well respected and appreciated venue, that one. It's been newly refurbished, so I do encourage people to get out there. But I also encourage all the cyclists to head out to the Backroads event this year out at Chapman Valley in August. There's also some funding contributed as part of the regional events scheme to the Mullawa Muster and Rodeo. That's in June, so that's coming up very soon. So there's, and I can't remember the name of these events. I saw them for the first time. There's the barrel, is it called the barrel racing that they do in the rodeo, where they ride around the barrels? I've never seen them before, but I got to see it for the first time last year because Mullawa Muster and Rodeo had a bit of a hiatus during COVID. But another fantastic event. I got to do some line dancing. It was really active. There was thousands of people in there, but another great way that we're supporting sport and activity out in the regions. Local members also make some contributions. So recently I had the opportunity to support Kai Townsend. I partnered with the JK Foundation, so everyone knows Josh Kennedy, another fantastic athlete from the Moore electorate in the agricultural region, to sponsor Kai Townsend, who will be representing Australia at the 22nd ITF Taekwondo Championships in Astana, Kazakhstan. I really do hope that Kyan does really well, but I'd also like to just mention the academy that he comes from, the Oceanic Taekwondo Academy in Geraldton, because that is run by a coach called Jason Bradley, who's a PE teacher, a primary school PE teacher in Geraldton and a bit of a local legend. He's been supporting kids through sport in every conceivable way. He is a really outstanding local citizen, and Kyan is his 19th student to represent Australia at the International Championships in 19 years. Absolutely a fantastic performance, and I really do congratulate Jason Bradley for his fantastic work and all of the young people that he's supported and encouraged to love and participate and excel in sport. We've also provided $78,500 for a match in Northampton following Cyclone Seroja, a waffle match and the waffle women's match, and that was a really great injection of funds and positivity into the community post Seroja.
The Honourable Shelley Payne.